I'm going to do, the way you get to the gradebook, okay, there are a couple different ways. But the easiest way to get there is to click on grades in your course. So here is my gradebook in my Fahrenheit 451 course. Don't worry, these are not real students. I'm not violating any federal law by putting their information out there. Once you get to your gradebook, here are the things that you can do. So your students, you can have them show either A to Z or Z to A. I have added in this notes column, and the notes column is going to enable me to give notes to myself, no one else can see them, about the students. So the way I used it kind of was like if a student added the course late, or if they were taking vacation, or anything I really needed to know about the student while I was working in my gradebook. The way you add that notes column is in the gear. It's going to be an option down there. So right now mine says hide notes column. Yours will either say add. I think it'll say add. And once you do that, it just shows up right over here. Again, no one else sees those notes, just for you. You can, here are the other options you can do in the gradebook. So you can arrange your columns by due date or assignment group. Right now, my gradebook is arranged by due date. And I do have assignment groups set up in this course, but they're showing for me, and I have a lot of assignments in here, all the way at the end. So in my gradebook, I can see, and my students can see, the calculations for each one of these assignment groups that I have set up. We talked about how to set this up the other day, but I don't think it was clear how you kind of would use this. So let's talk a little bit more about that. There's a feature in here called Set Group Weights. Mine is set up like this. So I have actually said to Canvas in my course that I want these different groups of assignments, that these are the types I give, and I've said that I want each one of them to be weighted this percentage. So when I'm in Canvas in my assignments, I'm able to say, you know, these are the things that go for the discussion group, and then all of those assignments are going to count for 5%.
What's happening if I'm getting the red icon with the slash? So
you don't have those set up yet. So I will show you now where we can set this up. All right. So if I go to, so in your course, let me show you how you set them up. You click on assignments. Now this is the page, and Denise said that this is confusing because when you click on this assignment page, all of your assessments are going to show up here. All right. It really shouldn't be called assignments. This page should be called assessments. So it's a little bit confusing. But when you click on this assignment page, everything that you have a point value assigned to is going to show up on this page. And here is where you can add assignment groups. So if you click on that plus group button, you're able to say, midterm exam, graded papers. You can call them whatever you want. And you can add the groups. So you probably have groups already on your syllabus, right? You say quizzes and tests are worth this much. So this is how you could add those groups in here.
I have children.
If you want to be able to get that telling you what percent of total grade do you want that to count for your course, you need to, if you click on assignment settings, so on the gear, Tracy and everybody else, if you want to be able to enable that, you click weight final grade based on assignment groups. Okay? Now, you don't have to do that part. You don't have to click on weight final grade based on assignment groups, and you can still have assignment groups, okay? If you do that, it's just going to show the students in the grade book, like, hey, say you're doing really great on quizzes and tests, but you're having a harder time with projects, and it's a way that you can use it for conversation with the student, but you don't necessarily need to weight the final grade based on assignment groups. But it is going to make, I think, your life a little bit easier, so it doesn't really matter what point value you give to certain things, because your gradebook is going to figure out for you the overall percentage of the grade for that category. So the way you move things then into these different assignment groups is, you see we've got these 8 dots over here on the right, and if I don't want this quiz to be in the assignments piece, and I actually want it to be, living down here with in my other assignments group, or if I want to create a quizzes and test group, you can move your different assessments around so they're in the right groups. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Are you sure? Because I know that can be a little bit. All right, you guys are good with that. Okay. All right. So in my grades, that's one of the things. So I have mine set up with groups, with assignment groups or categories. So when I look at this at the end of my grade book, because I have mine organized, so not by assignment group, I have it organized by due date. So my grade book is showing me my due date. But here is where I can see for my students, who's doing really great so far on discussions, but someone needs to step it up when it comes to projects. You can, in your grade book, hide student names. So that way, it remains kind of like you're not going to be influenced by whose thing is in there, or if you're going to be grading out in public and you don't want by chance someone to look over your shoulder and be able to see student names, you can hide your student names. Yeah.
Can you have it in your grade book that I notice all the items appear first and then the group or category appears to the right?
Yes.
So in other systems you can have all of your, say, discussions, the group will appear first, and then the individual discussion assignments will be right after it. So the category is like married to the item.
Yep.
Can you do that?
Yep. So that setting is this one here. If you look up as on screen, arrange columns by assignment group. So you have two options. You can either look at it by assignment group, so now I can look at all of my discussions together.
I think I have it that way because it says arrange columns by due date, but yet I still see.
You see it at the end.
I'm seeing
If you
it.
change it to assignment group.
Questions? Questions?
Yeah, I just set up a group,
Okay.
all my materials, all my assessments in that first group,
Okay. So set up a group and put all those assessments in that group.
right? Okay, and then first time weight. And,
Now it's going to give a weight to it.
okay, look at it. And 50% of total.
Okay, because what we need to do first is don't just bang on the keyboard. Alright. What you need to do for that is weight final grade based on assignment groups. And now you can do that.
Okay, excellent.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yep,
It's
that's the
just
trick.
how you get there, basically.
Yep. Okay.
That's
Treat ungraded as 0. Treat ungraded as 0 is the next functionality in your gradebook. What that is going to do is show you as the instructor only what will happen to the student's grade if everything that the student hasn't submitted and you haven't graded stays that way. So with missing assessments, what is that going to do to the student's grade? So if you have that on, when you look at the total, it's basically starting from 0 and building up as students submit.
But students will not see that when they look at their grade.
Students don't see that.
okay.
Steve?
So just to confirm, in the Canvas gradebook, everything's going to be out of 100%. the end of the day, no matter what kind of crazy lunacy point value schemes instructors use, it's going to be out of 100%.
If you do this, if you do the categories. So, I think is what you're asking.
Well, I have an instructor who uses 2,650 points.
Okay. All right.
And so let's say 2,287 and above is an A.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's only in the categories when the percentages start to apply, or even within the assignment. Like I'm not seeing how some things that seem to be points only and some things that seem to be points or percent or this or that, how that all jives.
Okay. So when we were building assignments and we're able to say, show this to students as a percentage or show it as points, really the gradebook is going to always be point based. So the gradebook is point based out of 100%. So even if you have 2,600 points, it's still out of 100%. And it would be up to the instructor if they're not using this weighting system with saying like assignments are worth 50% and tests are worth 50%. It would depend on how many kind of assessments they're giving, and then how they're weighting the points. So if like tests are the most important thing and they're all worth 100, but discussions are worth 5, that would be the weighting, if depending on the point value they gave assignments or quizzes or discussions.
I want to make sure I'm understanding.
Okay.
So across the top, you have discussions are 5% of the grade.
Yes.
And you can keep it percent, right?
Yes.
But the actual grading of the item, you can make that 75 points.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be percent.
It doesn't.
But then having to do with Steve's other question, if you don't have groups,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't have to have percentages in
No.
those items. It can all be point based.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
But then what are you saying it has to be 100 points? If I want to grade the assignment out of 5, can they grade the assignment out of 5?
Sure, they could.
So what's the 100?
So what I was saying, if you don't use this, right, and you have 2,600 points, and you want to stick with 2,600 points.
You don't have categories.
You don't have categories, right? And I'm just staying with 2,600 points. The point value that I set up my assignment with. So my most important assignments would be worth 100 points.
Our entire paradigm has just gotten forged.
Yeah.
The way we do everything.
So basically, if you have points for your assignments and you don't weight your categories, then the total will be points.
Yes.
Points and not percent.
So, yes, it's going to be a division then of how many points did you earn
Right.
out of how many were available.
Just add whatever points you got together.
Yes. Yes. So,
5 points on a discussion is equivalent to 5 points on an exam, but maybe that exam, the points are equal, so there's no weighting.
right.
Right.
So if you don't use this weighting scale, right, and you're like, screw that weight, I don't want to do that, right, I want to stick with my points, then it's going to become very important for you as an instructor to say, everything can't be worth 100 points then, because everything's going to be equal in your gradebook. Instead, you'd have to assign the point value of 100 to the very most important things, and your homeworks or things that are just like participation would have a very low point value. So this kind of takes that out of it if you're using these percentages. Because, for me, I came from a school too where everybody did their own thing. So some courses were only worth 500 points a semester, and some were worth 5,000 points a semester. And as we were adding things to grading, we couldn't figure out, really what percentage of our course discussions were worth. Even though we were saying, it's worth 5%. This way we can set those up. So did I just blow your whole...
No, it's
Is it really bad?
It's not that it's bad.
Okay,
I mean,
it's different.
We have to change how we do things, and we're probably gonna have to use multiple types of. We grade everything out of 100 points.
Okay.
If you hand something in, it's out of 100. If you do a major project, it's out of 100.
Okay.
That's not a
Whatever.
problem with the category.
Right. With
That's
the
not a
category, it's
problem.
not a
Let's
problem.
stay with the categories.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
problem that we have is not everything is equal within a category,
Okay.
so we might have to have
Multiple categories.
in order to be able to define them.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We'll figure it out.
So there is a way around it. Good.
Would it be possible to create a group and you put the different types of assessments in it, so you have quiz, exam, paper, and discussion forums, and assign points to them so that within that
If there
group,
is, there
with that unit, it's 100. So you
What
have
I'm
discussion
saying
forums,
is-
five points.
Okay.
Exam, 85 points, and so forth, so that your unit totals 100, and for however many units you have.
You have to have different
Where
categories.
what
each
you're
thing
knows
is-
what
It's
is,
just weighted differently.
each slate
It's
points,
weighted
not
differently.
percentages. But in fact, because you're basing it on 100, it would be both points and percentages
Tests would be the
simultaneously.
same.
So in that unit, okay, if he gets an 87,
I don't think I had enough coffee to answer your question.
alright, forget about it. You could try it after lunch.
Well, all right. So we can talk a little bit more about that because I need to look at what you're talking about. You're kind of talking about a marriage of both using the category percentage and how many points you give.
Okay, there are features with the percentages that will allow you to calculate grades along the way. Will that also work with points?
If you just went points.
Yeah.
Yes. Depending on how many points you made each thing worth.
Right.
Correct.
That's the answer I needed.
Yes, that is correct. You can go either way. Yes.
Good.
Denise.
One thing is just throwing me off a little bit.
Okay.
in your example.
All right.
I can live with, normally discussions might be 25%, right?
Sure.
But in your actual grading, nothing would be for, it would be like say out of 100, this is a percentage-based grading system, why did you pick 4 and why did you pick 5? Wouldn't it be like 75, 85, 95? Where would it be 4? You would get a grade of 4 in a percentage-based grading system.
So-
That's what's wrong.
Okay, so what has happened for this student? It is showing that so far,
Oh,
You know,
that's the whole thing.
yeah,
But where's the
discussions.
individual? Is that in there somewhere? We're not seeing the individual thing.
So if you look at, so you are for this student, for Alan, is that what you're saying that 4 is throwing you off? This is what he has earned in my course for discussions. So it's worth 5%, and he's at 4. He's earned 4 of that 5% for discussions. If we took all of his discussion
Where's
grades
his individual grade?
for every discussion.
For a given grade item called discussion 1, discussion 2.
Okay.
That's back there.
Yep. So that all you're looking at there is the totals. All right. Here's one of his discussion submissions. It was out of 3 points, and he earned 1.5 because his was late. I took points off.
So even though this is a percentage-based grading system, you're not grading out of
Nope.
100?
I was given points,
Okay.
and it's figuring that percentage out. Yeah,
You're not.
even.
But we can go back to 3-2-1, which I know the test.
Yeah, really.
Sure. So this can be anything here. It doesn't matter.
It can't.
Canvas is doing the math for me, which is awesome.
Canvas is going to do the math.
It did the math, which is great because the math is so far beyond me, right?
What, the red signifies that it's late,
Yes. For me in my grade book, that's signifying to me that he was late.
just for you in your grade book, I can set up the color that I want to be late? Or
No. Red is late. So we'll get to all those good things. All right. Do we feel okay with those assignment groups and percentages? I'm gonna probably throw you for a loop. And I apologize, because there's something else you can do if you use those. Alright. So stick with me here. You gotta do my training survey today, so I don't want you to hate me. I don't want to go into training survey with you guys like, Erin, I should have given it to you on Friday. Right?
Make the last thing we do a feel good moment. Involve food, ice cream. That'll do it.
That'll do it. Alright. Maybe right after lunch, when we're feeling good, we'll take the survey. They go back to my boss, they do.
Not before lunch.
Yeah, they go back to my boss, she's tough. Her name's Brooke. Put some nice stuff in there.
I know, it's
All right. For each one of your groups that you set up for grading, you have other options. All right. I've already said I want my assignments to be worth 20% of the grade. I can also say to Canvas, if I'm really nice, I want you to ignore these many of the lowest scores in that group for each student, or these many of the highest scores in that group for each student. But never drop, like, if there's something really important in there, right? So I can say, you know, for my students, for all these assignments in here, drop one of the lowest scores. I'm not gonna have to drop any of the highest scores. But never drop this paper called Who is Ray Bradbury, because that one's super important. Okay, so out of everything else in there, drop the lowest score. Okay? Just another thing you can do when you're working with those assignment groups and grading. Canvas figures that one out for me too.
Can you change that assignments to papers?
Yeah,
Or
you
is
can
it
have it be called.
default assignments and you can't change that?
Nope, I could change it to whatever I want. So
Because it's calling everything assignment, you know what I mean?
I know. So I can change it to papers. Yep.
Papers,
You can have it be called awesomeness. Like you can call it whatever you want. You can call your categories whatever you want. Whatever works for your course.
They switch.
Yes, call it bait and switch. Alright. Okay, treat and grade is 0. You can, I don't know if you want, well, you might want to. You can show concluded enrollments, right? So you guys probably have like ad drop kids, and you might not want to have them show, but if you wanted to, you can click show concluded enrollments or show inactive enrollments. Alright, you don't have to have them show, but you can if you ever needed to get back to them. Most times you're probably going to hide those, right? But if you ever needed to see them, you could bring them back to life in your gradebook.
Those are technically the drops.
That'd be the drops,
So they would drop from the registrar, but we'll still have a record.
if you needed them.
And, okay, and that means that we'll also have a record of everything they did before they failed.
Absolutely.
Okay, good,
So if you needed to get it back,
great.
yes.
Do they affect the grade point averages going on?
So concluded, inactive will be removed from your analytics, but you'll still be able to show them in your gradebook if you would need to. Okay. What else can we do in here? Well, there's more. There's more. So Tracy already pointed out that when a student submits late, I'm going to be able to see that. It indicates to me by it being red. You are able to, in your gradebook, you know, if you just want to go in and input points, you can. You don't have to use SpeedGrader. SpeedGrader is what I'm going to show you. It's the place where you can grade. But let's say for this one, I'm just going to go in and give everybody straight 4 points. So all I need to do is click into any one of those boxes, and I can update the grade that way.